Hi guys, welcome to Sir Patrick Bikes. I am Patrick. Just want to make a couple of points from the MotoGP round in Portugal from the weekend, and I really want to get your feedback on it. And while you're at it, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. So it was a brilliant race, wasn't it? Absolutely brilliant race. And before this season started, Marc Marquez was the bookies' odds-on favourite to be MotoGP World Champion this year. Do you think he's going to be MotoGP champion for this season? I had him at 5th. I still think he'll come 5th. Although we'll know more. Well, granted, we're only 2 races in, but we will know more when we get to Cota, because that's Marc Marquez's, one of his sort of favourite circuits. But let's compare him to Pedro Acosta at the weekend, because there are some similarities there. Both riders are on new bikes to them this season, and they're both on satellite bikes, and they were both on the same set of tyres. So why did Pedro Acosta do better than Marc Marquez? And I think, well, maybe it's because he's younger and he adapts, to a new bike more quickly. And it's harder for Marc to sort of change his riding style. Although, having said that, he seems to be adopting the same kind of strategy, because what he tends to do is sort of push the front end. It's what he's done it for years. He pushes the front end, and then he crashes to find the limit, and then he kind of backs off a bit. Actually, Pedro Acosta, you could argue, sort of does the same thing, but he just doesn't. He doesn't crash. He's been doing some insane kind of antics out on the track. Breaking into corners. But then let's go into the crash with Bagnaia. Now, I remember saying when I did the enemies video that these young guys are not going to put up with Marc's dominant antics on the track, trying to dominate them. And don't forget, Bagnaia's now, he's a double world champion, and he's not going to play second fiddle to anybody, that guy. And I think that what Marc should have done, obviously with the benefit of hindsight, was give Bagnaia a little bit more room. Bagnaia was coming up the inside, and Marc was trying to cut back at him up the inside, whereas Marc was trying to shut the door. But what was interesting was, I thought if Marc had given him a little bit more room, and say Bagnaia had got past him, right? At that point in the race, Marc Marquez was quicker than Bagnaia, was quicker than Pecco. And I think maybe a couple of corners later, or a lap later, he would have got past him anyway. And then he would have got that 5th place, which would have turned into 4th place, because obviously Vignali's bike, his gearbox went on his bike. So, I really want to find out what your opinion is on that. And they actually spoke about it in the interview, and I'm going to play that for you now. Before that's played, smash the like button, and please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get this channel to become more of a MotoGP community channel, and if you could comment below the video, that would be sincerely appreciated.
When Marc arrived, he tried to overtake me. He went wide. I just tried to cross the line. He tried to close his line, and we collided. So unluckily, it ended up with 0 point, and for next race we have to fight back to close a bit the gap.
You've just been to the hearing. What was said there? Are both of your opinions on the incident?
We went both on the side of no penalty, obviously, but we are 2 different guys, and with 2 different mentality, so 2 different point of view.
In terms of the relationship between the 2, has this affected it at all?
No, it's something that unlikely can happen.
Pecco, thank you for your time. Good luck in Austin.
Marc, obviously a disappointing end to what has been a really strong weekend. Just in particular on the incident with Pecco, just talk us through exactly what happened and your viewpoint on the situation.
I mean, it was in limit situation. Was it there on the red line, It's true that when the race direction called me, I say to them, it's in the red line, you must decide. I mean, of course, these things happen on the races, but I didn't expect that mistake from Pecco on this race, because we were fighting for 5th position. In the end, 2 points more, 2 points less. I mean, the worst thing is that both of us, we finished on the gravel. So So yeah, this is something that that can affect a lot in the end of the championship. So yeah, today he was suffering a lot in the end. I was suffering a lot in the beginning. In the end, I was catching him. You know that when you are suffering, sooner or later in 3-4 laps, the other rider will overtake you. So you must to accept. But yeah, he come back in a very optimistic way, and in the end, we finished both of them in the gravel.
Did you manage to speak to Pecco afterwards to just kind of wipe the slate clean on the situation, so there's no bad feelings or any awkwardness?
Yeah, of course it's impossible to be agreement between the two riders after 1 hour of the incident. But we have a good relationship with Pecco, no problem. I mean, he know what he did, he know which mistake he did. I accept these things happened on the race, and for me the most important is that this weekend my speed was one step more than the other ones. It's true that on the race I struggle more than what I expect, because I struggle a lot with the front confidence, and then I was calm, no stress, no panic, and just wait for next race.
Right, so there we have it. Marc thinks that Pecco was at fault for that crash, and to be honest, I think he probably had a point. I think Pecco probably was more at fault, but whatever. I think this season is going to pan out to be one of the greatest seasons ever of MotoGP, and I've been watching it since Barry Sheen in the late 70s when I was a kid, and I can't remember it being as close as this. The 15 riders were in a second of each other in qualifying. Thanks so much for watching.